Hello friends, and welcome back to Diablo Golden Ticket. This is kind of an exciting milestone because we're ready to enter an entirely new and a bit more challenging stage of our little adventure. But before we get into it, I want to give a huge thank you to those of you who've come along with me this far. Just making these videos is a treat in and of itself, so seeing everyone's comments, both here and on Twitter, has really just brought me so much joy. Seriously, thank you. You're the best. We return to our protagonist Aiden on the bottom floor of the cathedral. Say goodbye to these fancy colonnades, because we're in the catacombs now.
The smell of death surrounds me.
Aiden is probably a little stunned to find that not only is there a fifth floor beneath the cathedral that his father and Archbishop Lazarus built, but also he seems to have entered an entirely new realm. As he mentions, the smell of death is strong down here. There are fewer torches, so the whole place is shrouded in constant gloom. There's a real sense here that no one has ever expected living humans to venture down this far. If the Haradrim ever truly lived in the monastery, it must have been on the 4 floors above, because this place was clearly meant for the dead. A stalker there. That's just another version of the hidden. I'm going to expand on those a bit later. Levels 5 through 8 of the Diablo dungeon are similar to the cathedral in a lot of ways. The main differences are just the slowly escalating difficulty of the encounters, and of course the aesthetics. The catacombs have their own music, which still makes use of that strong drum beat, but also it prominently features electric and acoustic guitar. It's noticeably absent those choral notes and the bells that were incorporated into the cathedral music. The catacombs music also brings in some subtle vocals in places, suggesting the cries of children or this eerie laughter that has a kind of breathless, panicked quality. It looks like Aiden's going to be running into some overlords on this level too. You know, it's funny, I think after that fight with the butcher, he's just pretty much become immune to any shock at the idea of facing down demons that are twice his size or more.
I gotta pawn some of this stuff.
For some reason lately I keep hitting tab in town where it does no good whatsoever. Aiden is still interacting with the townsfolk as necessary, particularly Cain.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Cain is really excellent at helping him identify these powerful items he keeps finding in the ruins. This ring is really nice, gives a boost of 10 to his dexterity. 77% chance to hit now, which I'm pretty happy with. Adria is the other person that he visits a lot.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Ostensibly he comes to buy a regular supply of town portal scrolls. But in my headcanon, he's fascinated by her absolute lack of deference to him and her seemingly deep understanding of metaphysics and magic. She also seems to have a lot of insight into the people of the town, despite being a newcomer.
A chest opened in darkness holds no greater treasure than when it is opened in the light. The storyteller Cain is an enigma, but only to those who do not look. His knowledge of what lies beneath the cathedral is far greater than even he allows himself to realize.
Though it's hard to tell in this game, she's actually a nice-looking woman and not that much older than he is. I think he trusts her simply because she doesn't try to sugarcoat things. She never calls him a hero. She just gives him solid information and treats him as an equal.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Now, earlier I sold the bow Aiden had been using on those Black Death zombies, remember? Because he finished the level they were on. But he could probably use a backup ranged weapon despite the space it takes up in his inventory. And now I have a relatively decent one that his stats will allow him to use, so I'm going to hang on to it. The rest of this junk he can probably sell. An interesting note about level 5, once you discover a certain staircase on that level, you unlock a shortcut straight to town. That little crypt near the cows is now a shortcut to level 5 that can save you a town portal scroll if you like. This shortcut only works once you've discovered it from level 5 though. It's closed at the beginning of the game. There are potentially 2 quests on level 5 of the dungeon, and we're going to get a look at both of them in this video. Aiden is currently approaching the area that gives you the quest Arkaine's Valor. So that means he's about to be much better dressed. You can start to see the very identifiable shape of the Arkaine's Valor quest area here. Almost cross-like. Ooh, an amulet. I don't know what it does yet, but it doesn't matter. I'm putting it on to save an inventory slot, if nothing else. Level 12. Lately I've had no trouble with Aiden's health levels, and I have a ton of potions, so I'm putting points in strength and dexterity. I'll admit my point assignment tends to be reactive based on how he's been doing rather than adhering to any really knowledgeable long-term goal, so I may end up sorely regretting my choices later. Oh, this looks significant. I wonder what happens if... Oh, I get swarmed by demons from all sides. What happens? Bone Gashers are a variant of Scavenger, by the way, but also we've got something new here. Oh, another bit of jewelry hit the floor. Okay, let's try the other door. Nope. Just kidding, I do have to kill that guy. Okay, now where did that ring fall? You heard it, right? Did I pick it up already? Nope. This is the classic Diablo experience, friends. Aha! Okay, Book of Blood. This seems fine.
And so, locked beyond the gateway of blood and past the hall of fire, Valor awaits for the hero of light to awaken.
Okay, that's slightly less ominous than the usual things these books on pedestals say. And there appears to be a door leading further in. Bloodstone, pedestal of blood. I'm sensing a subtle theme to this part of the dungeon. Okay, the bloodstone fit on the pedestal, and it appears to have opened up another door on the side there, which I'm sure will be completely safe to approach. First, Aiden's going to let out some of his aggression on these barrels here. I wonder what his new ring does. He's got 2 already, which is unusual this early, given that he didn't do the water supply quest. He may end up swapping out the light radius one, as much as I like being able to see down here. Okay, here we go. Ah! So yes, these are our new catacomb friends, horned demons. They're described in game lore as the siege engines in the war between heaven and hell. Basically, they're demonic rhinos. Oh, another bloodstone to go on the pedestal. So, horned demons let out a really annoying bellow, and then they charge you. And if you're clever enough to sidestep, they just keep going till they hit a wall. It's kind of amazing. If you're not clever enough to sidestep, they do many times the damage they would do at melee range, so your best bet is to close the distance in a manner of your choosing and then give them a good whomping. Once you fit 3 bloodstones onto the pedestal, you open up this whole new hallway. Rhino party! This guy was really hoping the cleaver-wielding maniac with the creepy-ass crown wasn't going to notice him hiding back there. Here we have it, our quest reward.
May the spirit of Arkaine protect me.
A quest reward which I, the worst video maker in history, completely forgot to go to town and gossip about first, so you had some context. To be fair, the lore about Arkaine pretty much disappears after this, because Richard Knack got his greedy hands on the Sin War and basically wrote the guy out in favor of his own OC, as he likes to do. Oh gosh, Blizzard, you want me to write a Warcraft trilogy about the most important event in Elven history? Cool, so long as my human OC can travel back in time 10,000 years to be the star of it. Anyway, I digress. According to Cain, Arkaine was the first mortal to turn the tide of the Sin War and force the demons to retreat back to the burning hells. He supposedly stashed his magical armor somewhere that only a great hero would be able to find it. And now it belongs to Aiden. Doesn't he look fine? An interesting feature of the Catacombs that differs from the cathedral levels is that the layout is a bit more unpredictable. In the cathedral, you can kind of look at the general outlines of what you've uncovered so far and guess where there must be more content and what's probably empty. Catacombs, not so much. You can have random narrow hallways that just branch off in a weird direction and lead to a bunch more encounters when the map really looked like it was almost complete. More stalkers! So I mentioned I was going to fill you in a bit more about the hidden, right? Somehow these poor demons managed to piss off some prime evil or other by breaking some unimaginable law of hell. As their punishment, they were made invisible. Now, nowhere in actual canon is it mentioned what they did to earn this curse. So, of course, you know I'm going to make something up. As it stands now, they can only be seen when they attack, which is part of the reason they seek out conflict. So basically, they're your average Twitter account. Why they would be cursed in this particular way? Well, let's think it through. One thing lore explicitly states about the hidden is that they thrive on fear. Fear is like carbs to them. So what might this drive them to do that would annoy the prime evils? Well, the prime evils are definitely interested in waging war, but war is scary. What if the hidden were going around trying to whip up other demons into a frenzy of terror about how there was no way they could defeat the angels, etc., etc., and maybe they got a little too good at it and folks started deserting. So here they are, boosting their own personal clout and getting a nice meal, but also hindering the war effort. So somebody, maybe Diablo himself, since he's the guy in charge of terror, thank you very much, he's like, okay guys, you're all muted and blocked forever. Unless you want to actually, pick fights for us, and then and only then will we let people see your ugly faces for a second and give you attention. So now, just to be perceived, they have to attack. But as the lore states, they've used this curse to their advantage. Because what's more terrifying than an enemy that attacks you, usually in numbers, out of thin air? You walk around in a constant state of anxiety once you know that's on the table. And that's a feast for these guys. Still not done with level 5, huh? Okay, yeah, the bow is a bad idea. Lucky level 13. Okay, the last time I was in town, I saw an item that required 80 strength, so I think I'm just gonna focus solely on strength for a while. Can we take a few moments to focus on how absolutely banana pants the Catacombs music is? Can you just imagine hearing this as a kid in the 90s? Up super late at night so your parents don't catch you playing a game filled with upside down burning crosses? That's the true spirit of Diablo. I think we've filled out the whole map here. Notice how the piano bass line in the music almost, but not quite, echoes that 5-note musical motif from Town. I love stuff like that. Speaking of Town, I must be spending proportionally more time in dungeons as compared to town at this point because I've developed some odd reflexes, like earlier when I tried to hit tab to see the map, and now I come over here and start reflexively picking up piles of gold. I mean, I deliberately placed them there to keep them out of my inventory.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Identifying all the things. Oh wow, nice amulet. +3 to all attributes. Looking good, Aiden. This ring I got though, it only increases magic. Am I sad about that? Not really, because it'll probably sell for a few hundred gold. Arkaine's Valor is a really nice bit of armor for a warrior at this stage. Once Aiden's strength goes up, he'll want stuff with better armor class, but you can see that hit recovery stat in particular, that's going to come in handy against things like overlords that stun in melee. Morena also got this quest. Taking on those horned demons feels a lot different with her knockback bow. Still focusing heavily in dexterity for her. Check out that hit chance. Since Valor has a low strength requirement, there's an argument to be made for her equipping this armor and just wearing it for the rest of the game. It's really going to depend on the other items she ends up with, because you need resistances. I even maintain you need some light radius. You need all kinds of things, and really, you just have to mix and match. And you never know what's going to drop. Again, there's no grinding for loot here unless you want to start the game completely over with a saved character, because nothing respawns. And if you start over, you may end up redoing particular quests that you found tedious, etc. The rainbow cloak she's been wearing is really more of a sorcerer item, but I'm going to hang on to it because of its resistances, which she isn't exactly heavy on right now. I'm going to put it in the bank of Cain for the moment though, because right now she's not getting hit with a lot of spells. I think Valor is a better option for now. The Blink is a form of fiend that, as the name suggests, can teleport a short distance. Not that big a deal if you're a ranged attacker, just keep clicking. It's much easier to hit invisible stalkers with a bow, and super satisfying. They have one of the best death sounds in the game. So splatty. Time for Morena to check in with the townsfolk a bit.
Cain is a true friend and a wise sage. He maintains a vast library
Where,
and has an innate ability to discern the true nature of many things. If you ever have any questions, he is the person to go to.
Cain and Pepin are such bros. Just absolute besties.
Sometimes I think that Cain talks too much. But I guess that's his calling in life. If I could bend steel as well as he can bend your ear, I could make a suit of court plate good enough for an emperor.
Griswold, not so much, I guess. We haven't talked to Jillian much, but that's because she usually has very little of import to say.
Good day. How may I serve you? I grew up with Wirt's mother, Canis. Although she was only slightly hurt when those hideous creatures stole him, she never recovered. I think she died of a broken heart. Wirt has become a mean-spirited youngster, looking only to profit from the sweat of others. I know that he suffered and has seen horrors that I cannot even imagine. But some of that darkness hangs over him still.
I'd been assuming that Wirt was just part of the frenzied mob Lazarus whipped up, but Jillian makes it sound like the demons actually stole him for some reason, possibly for the same reason they stole Albrecht. Spoiler alert! I think you probably figured out the demons took Albrecht by now. But I guess they got Wirt and were like, nah, we were going for pure and innocent here, not whatever this thing is.
Psst, over here.
Go ahead and snack on his leg, though, I guess.
Barnum, now there is a man with serious problems, and I know all about how serious problems can be. He trusted too much in the integrity of one man, and Lazarus led him into the very jaws of death. Oh, I know what it's like down there, so don't even start telling me about your plans to destroy the evil that dwells in that labyrinth. Just watch your legs.
So how about our favorite sorcerer, Jazrath? What's he been up to? Dinging 12, for one thing. But also Griswold, of all people, has asked a favor of him.
A caravan that was bound for the Eastern Kingdoms passed through here some time ago. It was supposedly carrying a piece of the heavens that had fallen to earth. The caravan was ambushed by cloaked riders just north of here along the roadway. I searched the wreckage for this sky rock, but it was nowhere to be found. If you should find it, I believe that I can fashion something useful from it.
There's a cryptic shrine in here. These refill mana. Since Jazrath is doing pretty well on mana right now, I'm gonna leave this one alone for the time being. So why would Griswold ask Jazrath in particular to look for this rock? Well, obviously it was randomly assigned, but let's think about this like storytellers. The caravan was headed to the Eastern Kingdoms, Griswold mentioned. Also, for once, Jillian gives us some useful details.
But that was quite a while ago. They had strange accents and were starting on a long journey, as I recall.
Ooh, a new spell. Unfortunately, it's Telekinesis, which has about a 1% chance of ever being useful. Basically, it does what a left click would do, but from a distance, and even through bars. That includes looting stuff. The wiki gives an intriguing bit of lore about the spell, though, which I will tell you as Jazrath participates in the most hilarious, unique enemy encounter I've had so far. Squeak! The telekinesis spell was once a simple mental training test that all of the Herodrim had to pass, but these days it's a rare spell that only skilled sorcerers can do. This tells you how the practice of magic has fallen into decline, and gives you an idea of the reverence with which Jazrath might view the Herodrim. Yes, he's still casting firebolts at Foulwing, who appears to be stuck on a door frame and can't fight back. In my head, Jazrath is just literally using him for target practice.
Not enough mana.
Aiming is hard, okay? But let's get back to why Griswold sent Jazrath after this magic rock. Jazrath is from the Eastern Kingdoms, and he has a strange accent, and it's been long enough since the caravan came through here that it could make sense that Jazrath came out here in response to the caravan failing to return. Come combine that with Cain's long-winded, of course, explanation here.
Griswold speaks of the Heaven Stone that was destined for the Enclave located in the east. It was being taken there for further study. This stone glowed with an energy that somehow granted vision beyond that which a normal man could possess. I do not know what secrets it holds, my friend, but finding this stone would certainly prove most valuable.
My headcanon, Jazareth would know exactly what to look for because it was one of the Mage clans, maybe even his, that was retrieving this thing for study.
I really don't understand why Ogden stays here in Tristram. He suffers from a slight nervous condition, but he is an intelligent and industrious man who would do very well wherever he went. I suppose it may be the fear of the many murders that happen in the surrounding countryside, or perhaps the wishes of his wife that keep him and his family where they are.
I left that bit in here because the part about murders in the countryside supports my theory about Condorus being a lawless trash pile without Leoric's rule. Anywho, so Jazareth came out here looking for this exact magic rock, but what he found in Tristram is infinitely more valuable.
This must be what Griswold wanted.
One floor above this, he found bona fide Heraldric writings. If Griswold can make him something out of this rock that will help him delve deeper in these ruins, he'll happily hand it over to him. Oh, that quiet shrine gave him a couple vitality points. Anyway, Jazareth also has it on good authority from one of the few people he'll deign to speak to that Griswold is the right guy to hand this thing to.
The Heaven Stone is very powerful, and were it any but Griswold who bid you find it, I would prevent it. He will harness its powers, and its use will be for the good of us all.
This is a hidden shrine, which can sometimes be a bummer as it takes durability away from an item to give to others. But it's Jazareth's staff that got hit, and he's not going to be whomping anything with it if he can help it. You know, I think Griswold is the one NPC that everyone in town seems to respect. Even Wirt seemed to think that Jazareth had the right idea in giving the stone to him.
If anyone can make something out of that rock, Griswold can. He knows what he is doing. And as much as I try to steal his customers, I respect the quality of his work.
Let me see that. Aye, it is as I believed. Give me a moment. Here you are. I arranged pieces of the stone within a silver ring that my father left me. I hope it serves you well.
And this is a really nice ring for pretty much any character type. It's got light radius, hit recovery, attribute bonuses.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Griswold does fine work.
I used to have a nice ring. It was a really expensive one. Blue and green and red and silver. Don't remember what happened to it, though. I really miss that ring.
See you next time, friends.